The Gameday Broadcast Network is proud to present Gameday Media Day 2012 worldwide online at GamedayMagazine.com. Powered by Glory Days Grill. There are days and there are glory days.
Last year we had a group of kids that were learning how to win, and so I think this year hopefully they'll understand what you need to do in order to be successful, how you need to prepare and things like that. So football is a game where it's going to be up and down, and the more consistent you can have your team and your expectations, the more successful you'll be in the long term.
The guys up front, they never get any attention, and we're going to replace all those guys. But I think the thing about that is the fact that I think they're a strong, tight-knit group. And whenever you have a tight-knit group of guys that work hard, great things can happen. And I think it's about that chemistry that those guys create. And they spend a lot of time together this all season. So I'm excited about those. Last year we were, huge from a standpoint of, 6'8", 300s. We're going to be smaller from, 6 foot, 6'2", 220s, 240s, which again I don't really care the size as much as I care what's inside of them. And so those guys have been doing a good job. And then I think just some of our underclassmen, Reed Insminger, George was just asked, a kid like Adam Whitaker. There's a lot of kids that are younger that are taking more leadership roles even as underclassmen. So I think all those guys are ready to have a good year. And I've seen that through action, not just through their words.
Well, I think there's a lot of things that come into play. I mean, there's, players being healthy and players understanding the concept of, once the regular season ends, the type of preparation that it takes going into the playoff season. For us, we've put a little bit of an emphasis on that. We talk a lot about good teams playing in November and great teams playing in the first week of December. So I think our kids have bought into that concept and understand that the preparation has got to kind of come to a different level as we go into the playoff season.
It's huge having kids that have made it all the way, and then they're itching to get back as quickly. One last time, and it's their senior year. They want to go out with a bang. They're highly motivated to get back to the championship game this year, and they've been putting a lot of effort, more effort I would say so this year in the off season to get ready for their senior year and to try to repeat. It's been encouraging to the rest of the kids on the team as well.
Well, we've preached to our kids since our last football game that we won't sneak up on anyone this year, that will be a circle the calendar date type game for everyone. And our kids, I really believe, understand that. We return quite a few kids on both sides of the football. The biggest thing for us moving forward is we've got to replace some kids that were 3 and sometimes 4-year starters for us. And if we can do that, we should be pretty good.
I feel that this team has more confidence than the past few teams, and just understanding the system's a lot better. So, I feel like this year we're looking at it being a year of coming out party for us.
Again, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I've been blessed. I've worked for some outstanding head coaches. So what I've done is brought a lot of what I've learned from them and from the defensive coordinators that I have worked with, brought from me with them, and combined it with the staff that we've hired, and we're trying to create something new. What I've learned also is to not try to do exactly what you did at another school and bring it here. Offensively, we're going to keep it real simple in the beginning. Spread, some mainly pro spread stuff as well. But the reality is you can't say you are what you are until you see the kids that walk through the door, and you have to be able to adapt to what's in front of you, what the defense is willing to give you as well, and what your skill set is. Again, you can only run what your kids can do. So it's not my vision. It's also what the kids will do. Defensively, I've also learned to keep it real simple. 4-4 cover 3 in the beginning with some slight variations week to week. But the bottom line is if you keep things real simple, your kids are confident and your kids play fast. So it makes up for a lot of deficiencies you might have as far as age or just physical maturity, because like a champ this year, we don't have any seniors. We have freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, and that's it. So our varsity squad is going to be made up of sophomores and juniors who are either in their very beginning experiences of football or just have a year or so of high school football under their belt. At the most, maybe the freshman level. So again, offensively, pro and spread, and defensively, keep it real simple with the 4-4 cover 3. But again, variations week to week based on what we can do to help stop the offenses we're facing or score against the defenses we're going against. So
we are not going to claim we're going to win the region or anything else. We are just going to get to work and go from there and try to make a run at this thing. We have won 4 of the last 5 district titles, so we always start with that. Try to win the district, qualify for the playoffs, and then go for the regional title and see what happens after that. So our first goal would be to qualify for the playoffs, and I think that's a realistic goal, and to try to win the district championship and go from there.
You got to win one of them. You know what I mean? You got to win one of those games, I think. And we had a big game with Loudoun County last year, and I think that it helped us, and then it hurt us a little bit. Because I think our kids felt like, wow, we stepped up in a big game. We got a big win against a great team, I felt. Obviously, crosstown team. And yet I think they let down. They didn't understand that there's a lot of big games, I think. And that might be it. And I think I think the other part is that we struggle a little bit because we started as a varsity team with young kids. The hard part about that is keeping the kids up from losing. You know what I mean? Because you're going to take some physical beatings when you go out there and play 9th graders against 12th graders. And I'm not a big fan of that. I don't really think it's a good idea to open up with a varsity schedule without 4 classes. But I think that hurt. That got us in that mentality where we didn't even, we're used to getting kind of beat up against good teams. And then last year, I felt like we got out there and we competed, but we didn't raise our level of play. To be honest, I don't know that we played badly against Briarwoods. We just didn't play well. And like you said, our expectation is when the competition's better, we get better. And that'll be interesting. The great part is I think we got some great games on our schedule, that are going to let us see if we're that team or not. But I think it's a great question because I think that will determine our success. I believe this team can be very successful, but your question will be the difference between us being very successful and just another okay season. So.
The changes that need to be made, I hope, have already happened. I think we have kind of a group that has seen both sides of things. We have a group that kind of overachieved a couple years ago, and this year's seniors or sophomores in those team. We had a group that, as a whole, with staff and coaching staff involved, underachieved last year, and with very talented players, and we just didn't utilize their talents the way that we probably should have. And so they've seen both sides of it, and I think they'll take or they're wanting to, at least they're willing to take a lot away from those 2 examples to kind of set their own path forward. They've done a good job in the meantime. We've had a lot of talks in the meantime about what we want to become, and I think we have a pretty clear vision about what we want to become, but there's a lot of labor behind it that needs to occur on a daily basis as leadership is.
I've gone from never using a cell phone to using a cell phone. I never learned how to text until March 1st. I know how to text now. Emails, you get a lot of emails, but yeah, it's kind of exciting. I mean, for me, I 5 years off was nice. I got a chance to spend a lot more time with my family. Now that I am close to home and most of my family is coaching with me or involved in the program, it's a little different. I've never coached in a community of the school I live in, so.
It's an exciting time to be a Fauquier Falcon right now. I just took over as the head coach this year. Previously was the offensive line coach and then the offensive coordinator. So I've been there for a while. This year we returned 9 seniors, and they're all skill players. So we should be pretty exciting offensively. We're still going to be a spread team. We're going to try to spread teams out a little bit, but also go a little more 2-back. And we're adding some under center, some I formation stuff this year. help us kind of close out games and get going in some games. Defensively, as always, we're going to be tough. We're going to fly around. We're going to hit people with more of an attitude than we've ever had. I really feel like our players have really stepped up this offseason. We're stronger than we've ever been. I can't remember a better offseason that I've had playing or coaching. So we're ready to go. Our kids are excited, and like I said, it's a great time to be a Fauquier Falcon right now. We're looking to do some good things this year and make a little run.
Every year the seniors get together. We did this before school was out, and we set goals. And every year they set certain goals, and part of the goals is win the state championship. And that's what it was in 2011. That's what it was in 2010. That's what it was in 2009. That's what it was in 2008. And as we built the program, obviously the goals have reached higher accolades, and we've attained those things. So, from the standpoint of our guys, that's what we're shooting for. The key thing is, and this is part of their goals, is this: staying hungry and staying humble at the same time. And because sometimes people forget what's gotten where they were and how they got there. And so if they forget how to do that, then that's when things happen. And so if our guys can keep that same attitude of staying humble, staying hungry, then that first goal of winning a state championship will always be attainable. It's when they lose focus and get sidetracked, and that happens with every program. There's always going to be a time when you're not going to win a state championship. It just happens. But the focus is always going to be there, and since we've established that, and we're in an area where it's happened in the last 5 years, then that's something that we're going to continue to look at, and that's their goal.
Last year, solely, those big games, the big points on the board, that was really a coaching mistake. We had athletes in place, however, we wore our athletes out, and by the middle of the second quarter, third quarter, they were just worn out because they were gassed by playing both ways. So what we're trying to do this year is really trying to rotate more guys in the game. Now, the athletic ability was up here, and then the twos were about here. Now we're about midway right now, I feel, with the more experience and more guys that are coming a part of my football program. I feel like we have more guys that we can rotate into the game to keep them fresh, to go against the bigger schools. I mean, we're playing Broad Run, Liberty, and Briar Woods again right off the bat, and numbers-wise, they just have more kids to choose from. They can put them in the game, and they're fresh, and our guys aren't. Now, if we can keep our guys fresh, I think we can keep the points down a little bit and, go back to playing, Parkview football the way it's supposed to be played with tough defense.
Looking to just continue our upward momentum. Excited about the year. Heard a lot of other coaches say it does seem like it's been a long off season. I don't know if that's the change in the rules, where everybody feels like they're working with their kids more. I think the change in the rule is bad for high school football in a lot of ways. I think it has hurt a lot of our kids from wanting to be multiple sport athletes, which I think is bad for high school athletes. But hopefully in the end it's going to make our football team better. Very much disagree with it, but you got to play by the rules that you're given.
You want to have that little smirk on your face, letting them know we got the better of you. And so it is a big deal to them. They walk around, they work extremely hard. They want to do well for their school, their community. So it's a big deal playing schools like that. And like I said, I'm glad we're playing both of them. I wouldn't want it any other way. You want to play the teams in your area. And, it's great for the community, like I said earlier. I think the transition's gone great. The kids are really excited about the coaches that have come in. Like you said with Coach Brown, he has a great resume and a track record, and the kids, he has street cred with our kids because our kids talk to the Briarwoods kids, and they're excited to have him. I mean, just from day one when he walked in the door, there was a feeling of, wow, this is going to be awesome. And having a guy like Terrence, a kid I coach that I have a very special relationship with, I'm excited about having him on staff. He's a great young man.
I'm taking over for Tommy Buzzo. For those of you that know Tommy Buzzo from Liberty, it's probably an understatement saying I'm trying to fill some big shoes. Tommy left a mark pretty much wherever he went. Probably the best thing about Tommy's move, it's what Tommy wanted to do. Tommy made a high school program into a college program. It's how he always ran things. And probably the biggest compliment from Tommy he recommended me for the job, and luckily I got the job, and we're able to move forward and keep Liberty running the way it always has. Anything new kind of creates that excitement, and the kids are really buying into it. Expectations for this season, we're a young team, but we have a very talented young group of kids. I'd love to be able to go through, our starting defense and offense right now, but I really don't know. I'm going to have a bunch of sophomores and juniors fighting for playing time that, they've never had before. So in that aspect, we're a young team. I think we're going to surprise a few people. Obviously, my goal first is to win the district. We didn't win the district last year, but in our district, we're going to have a strong kettle run team back. Tony is going to have Warren County ready to play with a great quarterback in Post, who I swear has been there 6 years now. I'm looking forward to him moving on. And Fauquier also has a new coach. So what changes that they make in that program? So it's really going to be tough to see who comes out of this district. I think it's going to be a hard-fought, competitive year, but obviously that's my goal, is to win the district, make the playoffs, and then from there, one game at a time.
The Gameday Broadcast Network is proud to present Gameday Media Day 2012 worldwide, online at GamedayMagazine.com. This exclusive broadcast worldwide online is being powered by Glory Days Grill. There are days and there are glory days. The Gameday Broadcast Network is your #1 destination to watch high school sports online, with over 350 live sporting events produced each year. You can also relive all the biggest games on demand. Follow your favorite team with Gameday's exclusive articles, photo galleries, and television shows online at GamedayMagazine.com. Join the network today and make Gameday your home online. You'll never miss another big game.